and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm Rebecca Felgate, and today we're talking the top 10 dangerous versions of normal jobs. Eek! I wonder what a dangerous version of my job would be. Like, I guess space YouTuber? I would really like that. Also, I'm kind of dressed like a space YouTuber today. Sweet merch, Rebecca. Okay, now I've reminded you about the merch, I also want to remind you that we have a thumbs up button, so if you like our content, make sure you are clicking it. Okay, so back to normal jobs gone dangerous. Coming in at number 10, why be a regular journalist when you can be a war journalist? Local newspapers and online journalists cover events like village fetes, store openings, school plays, local concerts, and the unveiling of new benches. Unless they get lucky, or unlucky depending on how you want to look at it, usually the most dramatic thing the normal journalists will have to cover is who vandalized old Jeff's sweet shop or who lifted the wise men's skirts up in the church hall's nativity display. War correspondents, however, are journalists sent out to areas of conflict to cover political and social upheaval. Countless war correspondents have been wounded or even killed as they get too close to the conflict. Some have even been taken hostage. Coming in at number 9, we have knitter versus spy knitter. I mean, spy anything is pretty dangerous. In World War II, Phyllis Latour Doyle turned her usual knitting job into a spying job as she turned codes into knitwear. She would hide codes in silk that she used to tie up in her hair too. What a lady! Coming in at number 8, we have street sweepers versus road sweepers. Being a street cleaner becomes more dangerous with the more vehicles you add to the working environment. Sweeping streets in the developed world usually involves riding on a cool little automobile which brushes as you drive. Of course, there are some road-based risks here, but imagine being a street sweeper in a third world country. Street sweepers in Kiva, Rwanda are mainly women, and they work roadside at all hours of the day. These ladies sometimes work at night using just brushes. Sometimes they're run over, often they're attacked, and sometimes they're raped. Coming in at number 7, we have recycle plant workers versus e-waste recyclers. Working at a recycle plant does have some risks, as does any job that involves machinery. However, usually recycle workers work with safe to handle substances like aluminium, plastic, and paper. However, e-waste recyclers, especially those in places like China, specialize in handling piles of broken electronics. These are often spilling out harmful to touch chemicals. Battery acid, for example, is not fun to be around. Coming in at number 6, we have pot washers versus equipment cleaners in hospitals. Pot washer. I remember the days I used to clean cutlery at a restaurant when I was 15 to earn a little bit of pocket money. I'm pretty sure that I used to get like £20 for 4 hours work, so I was really rolling in the big leagues back then. Pot washing is an easy and low skilled job that many people carry out for a bit of extra cash. It is pretty risk free, however, cleaning pots and instruments at a hospital is not. The danger in being the person to carry out this kind of work is not just to yourself but to others too. If contaminated pieces of equipment are not carefully cleaned, then diseases and viruses can be spread. Coming in at number 5, we have teacher versus teacher in a problem area. Why be a teacher in a nice area with nice neighborhoods in the catchment area with a great support network and a good school board when you can work at a difficult school with high crime rates? Being a teacher is becoming an increasingly more dangerous job, and the level of comfort can vary so much between schools. Some schools have great reputations, others absolutely don't. Kids may bring weapons to school specifically to attack teachers that they dislike. In one school in the United States, kids poured cleaning liquid into a teacher's water bottle. The United States has also been known to see mass shootings, which is absolutely outrageous. I'm not sure I would be comfortable being a teacher in the United States. Coming in at number 4, we have librarian versus librarian at a secret facility. While it may seem like being a librarian is a dying job, you should know that libraries are still thriving in new ways by including other media and digitalized books. A librarian's job is pretty low key unless you're a librarian in a secret facility. Yes, they have bookkeepers too. For example, Charlotte Serber was the head scientific librarian at the Manhattan Project facility. She was tasked with the job of keeping plans for the atomic bomb secret, which was very tricky and very dangerous. Coming in at number 3, we have being an electrician versus being a high altitude electrician. Fixing electrics on the ground is one thing, but changing the bulb bulbs and fixing the electronics at the top of skyscrapers or big old masts is something very completely different. You may have noticed that tall buildings and structures have lights at the very top of them. This is to stop aeroplanes accidentally smashing into them, letting them know that they're there and that they're not the runway. I've noticed these flashing lights many times too, but I've never stopped to think about how they actually get up there until now. Whew. Coming in at number 2, we have being a trash picker versus being a trash picker on Mount Everest. Cleaning up garbage in my eyes is an honourable job. Nobody wants to do it, so good on you if you do, unless of course you're doing it as some kind of punishment. In that case, just, think about what you've done. The trash pickers on Mount Everest and Kilimanjaro and other insane peaks of the world do so by choice. Without them, hikers would not be able to enjoy the mountain. To climb Everest, for example, hikers and Sherpas take a lot of food and water. The climb takes around 2 months, so they need these supplies to live. Of course, with supplies comes waste, which is where the Everest cleaners come into play. They carry huge bin bags filled with rubbish weighing 176 pounds, so that's more than your average person. They're then winched onto helicopters and taken to lower camps where they're then taken down the mountain. It is quite the operation and conditions are often treacherous. Sadly, it also sometimes involves picking up human remains too, because sometimes climbers die when attempting to summit. Finally, coming into number 1, a job that really has my stomach just plowing to the bottom of my body, we have being a window cleaner versus being a window cleaner on a skyscraper. Cleaning windows outside of any big cities usually involves heights of 8 to 10 meters, but inner city window cleaners who specialize in skyscrapers have one hell of a job on their hands. Imagine, for example, being the window cleaner of the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. Standing at 830 meters high, this is one task force that I really don't want to belong to. The BBC has a video on YouTube that shows a team of cleaning experts cleaning the Burj Khalifa's windows, and it really makes my stomach just drop and makes me feel very, very, very sick. So guys, that was the top 10 dangerous versions of normal jobs. Would you guys carry out any of these jobs? Are you looking at this list thinking, oh my goodness, I need to be the Burj Khalifa's window cleaner? If so, I'm pretty sure you can make a pretty penny by doing so. Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to check out our merch. You can be a speckly joy like me right now. I'm Rebecca Felgate. If you like this video, make sure you give it a good thumbs up, share it with a friend, and stay subscribed to Most Amazing Top 10. Thank you guys for watching to the very end of this video. If you're in search of more related lists, why not check out our top 10 jobs that no longer exist? Bye!